Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
A lot of us go through life. We're looking for answers. We're trying to figure out this whole thing called life. How do we move it forward? What's holding us back? I'm a firm believer in it will all be revealed. Whatever you need to know, the answer's there. Sometimes you can't find the answer. And for that, you need somebody that's got that insight, somebody who's a spiritual advisor, a healer, a mentor. And I found her. Ashley Thorpe joins us on the program. Hi, Ashley. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you. How are you on this marvelous Wednesday?
I'm well. It's good to have you here as we zoom you in from, I believe, the mountains somewhere in North Carolina. Are you in the mountains? I'm not really sure.
I'm close to the mountains, but I'm closer to the ocean.
Okay. That part of North Carolina. So Fayetteville, but I'm going to say east of Fayetteville, maybe?
Yes.
And I'm not even psychic. I figured that out, and I'm GPS challenged all the time. So
You know your geography.
yeah, a little bit. Not a lot about North Carolina, but well, it's great to have you here. And I know that you're somebody that has clairvoyance, call it intuition, medium abilities. When we say that, does that mean that you can connect with those on the other side? Can you get messages that can help impact our current lives, our future lives? I'm not talking about like a fortune teller or anything like that, but tell us how that whole process works when you work with somebody.
Yes, you're very correct. I can commune with those who have crossed what I like to call the Great Divide. And it actually appears very subtly. And the coolest part about it, Steve, is that everyone has the ability to tap into these signs, but most people are too afraid, or the unknown kind of makes them nervous. So they don't really trust their instincts when it comes to it. But it appears in many different forms. One of the major forms for me is clairaudience, which is translated into clear hearing. So what that means is that I can hear the voices of those that have crossed over. I can also pick up on sounds like a car door or like a faucet running. So I hear very strange sounds. And then mostly my most dominant is going to be claircognizant, which is a psychic ability that allows me to just know things. It's translated as clear knowing. So when we have conversation or I'm dealing with a client seeking mediumship, things just come to me. And 9 times out of 10, they have no idea how it comes. I just know what I know.
But I would imagine when you know what you know, you back it up with validation. You'll have something that the person that you're working with will say, "Oh, yeah, my aunt used to do that," or "Yeah, she also loved that," or some kind of validation.
Most definitely. Mainly it's characteristics, smells, like maybe their perfume that they used to wear, or if you had a grandfather who used to smoke a pipe, I will smell the pipe. It's very different in a way of what you deal with on a regular basis, like conversation, the sensations and sensories that you get just through your daily life. It's the same thing, but it's more subtle. So people have a tendency to kind of jump over it instead of, what was that?
Plus, we're all running fast in our lives. There's so much around us where you can't quiet that out. So you can pick up on those signs, those signals. And I'm a big believer. I ask for signs and I get signs. I know it sounds, maybe not
Yes.
to you, kind of weird, and they're very specific. And I only ask when I really need them. It's not like I'll be driving on a random day. It's like, hey, throw me something. What do you got there? No, there's a reason. There's a reason. I need an answer, need something. And I get it from relatives who have passed over and or universe. I call it the universe. I believe the universe supports
Yes.
us. I really do.
Me too. I am a firm believer that the universe has a special way of guiding us throughout our lives with the help of spirits, ancestors, angels, and sacred beings. We are all sovereign beings of this planet, meaning that you are divine in every way. And because of that, you have connection to this divine world. And when you start to accept, because that's the biggest thing, is accept that these things are real, you begin to notice more and more things. And that's kind of like what I do. I open the door for you and then you walk through.
I completely believe it. I experienced it. Should I call you Lady Jewlz or Ashley? I'm not really sure.
Lady Jewlz. My professional name is Lady Jewlz.
And it shall be from this point forward. I
Thank you.
even Monday experienced somewhat of what we're talking about, where I worked with somebody years ago. I was connected to her cousin in the last 2 years. And then I come to find out that she is connected with somebody else in my life where I needed to receive some answers. Completely, like the chances are mind blowing how this all comes together. And I got some answers and I was like, okay, all
Yes.
right. The pieces are coming
And
together
that's
now.
pretty much what it feels like on a regular basis. Once you
Wow.
start to accept that these things are real and that you have the ability to co-create your life and to ask for assistance, and you actually start implementing those things that you're learning, everything starts to make sense. It's almost like you had a fog over your eyes and then all of a sudden it was just lifted.
Yeah, without a doubt. How about some of the call them weirder signs or signals that you got that you relate to a client? Maybe that's just something that stands out in your mind in the past, or I'd love to
Oh,
hear them.
most definitely. I have a client story. Recently, I assisted a very good old friend of mine from high school. Her husband had passed away from a tragic accident, and she had been dreaming about him a lot. And she just didn't quite understand what the dreams meant. She enjoyed the feeling, but she was saddened every time it would happen because she would wake up and, of course, he wouldn't be there. So one of the things that really stuck out for me was while I was channeling, I kept hearing the rev of a motorcycle engine, like, and I was like, what is that? Because I never really heard that sound before. And I tried to explain the sound to her, and she told me that on the weekends that he would sit on his bike when he was working on it or just going for a joyride, and he would rev it up in the driveway to piss off the neighbor.
Ah, wow, that's great.
So
Yeah.
what seemed very unplaced, like just out of place completely, the noise that I heard was very significant. And this happens to me all the time when I'm driving, when I'm doing the dishes, even when I'm not with a client, I receive signs and signals all the time.
Mm. I always throw out there, if you're getting anything on me and want to use me as a example, feel free. I have I have no secrets. I put it all out there. Um, what are some of the other things?
Open book.
I am. I am. If you say it, I'll validate it or deny it, and I'm not gonna just say it, whatever it is, just because we're talking here. Be
Right,
honest. Always
exactly,
honest. Always
exactly.
honest. How about some of the other things that you offer in terms of working with people, helping them get some clarity? Mediumship is one of them. Spiritual
Yes.
advisor. How about that?
Yes, my most popular service is going to be my spiritual advisor service, which is known as Comfort and Counsel.
Hmm.
And this is where we just kind of conversate a little bit and then dive deeper into why you're feeling the way that you are. Or what I see most often is people want the change. People want their lives to be what they desire, and they're just unsure of how to get there. So, fear and doubt is the largest and most common thing that we all struggle with.
Yep.
And it is probably one of the biggest blocks when it comes to going after what it is that we truly want in this life. And I myself have suffered from fear and doubt. I'm only human, just like all of us. And I believe that these are fuel to the fire, that if you can accept that you are afraid of something because of how amazing it could be, or because it's unfamiliar to you, then you have the ability to change your perception and look at it from a different way and be like, oh, this is what I need to do. This is not fear. This is excitement. Because if you can be anxious, you can be excited.
I'm gonna have to think about
And
that
that's
for a
probably
second.
one of my most popular services, is just trying to figure out the daily struggles of life. Like, where do I want to go? What do I want to do? And how can I get there? That's definitely my most popular service.
And it's so on point because more than ever, so many of us are dealing with anxiety, i.e., also fear, and that's holding us
Yes.
back. And it could be, simple as maybe changing a job, taking a different position,
Mhm.
relationships too, getting out of a relationship that doesn't support you, but you're afraid to make that pivot. And we
Yes,
like to go with the comfortable. We like to go with the comfortable. And somebody
we
said to me
do.
years ago, very intuitive person, I had left a job after many years, and it was a mutual departure. And I said to him, "What am I going to do now? Uh, what just happened? What's going on?" And he was part of the job journey, and he said, "Habit doesn't always equal happiness." So you may think
That's
that that
right.
was what you wanted to do or you should be doing, but I
Hmm.
I never forgot that, and I'm talking that was wow, like 16 years ago. And habit doesn't always equal
Yes.
happiness. You might think you're happy because it's just that's your routine because you're afraid of the
Yeah.
change, which we all are.
Yes, most definitely. And one thing I tell all of my clients is that just because you want something doesn't mean that you need it.
Hmm. Hmm.
And this goes a little bit deeper than just, wanting a better job or more money. Sometimes we want things that do not serve our greater good. Like you said, a toxic relationship, letting go of a job that constantly drains us. These little things, what seem little, it makes big impact in our daily lives and in our overall mindset. And at Gypsy Mind, we value mental health and spiritual well-being above all. And that is our main goal, is to get you right with yourself so that you can be right in the rest of the world. Because without you, what are you doing? You're the main ingredient.
And if something is not aligned with what's inside here, your job, relationship, whatever it might be, you're always going to
Yes.
feel off. Something's going to feel that
Mhm.
it's not working. I don't know what it is. And like you said, you might think that, oh, I just need that new car. I need that job. I need that. That'll make me,
Yeah.
that'll do it. But maybe it's not that. And you need to
Mhm.
find that out, which I'm sure you help people, find that clarity.
Oh, most definitely. I tell my clients all the time, don't just, oh, wait till the next one. Oh, let's wait for Friday. Oh, I can't wait till I do this. Or once I get here, I'll be better. Stop doing that to yourself, because when you do that to yourself, you say that you're not good enough right now. And you are. You are
Mm.
more than good enough right now. So focusing on what you can do and being here in the present moment versus constantly worrying about what was or what will be, it'll drive you crazy. The most important and most powerful moments are going to be happening in the now. And that's what I
Mm.
try to get my clients to understand, the power of the present moment, because that's truly where your greatest power lies, is right here and right now. Because when you pray for something or when you ask for something, when you receive it, it will be now, not later. It'll
Hmm.
be now. So now is the time for you to start believing and accepting that you are worthy and you can receive these things that you are seeking and asking for. It is all possible in the world that we live in. And that's what makes it so magical. And that's what I love doing what I do, is opening people's minds to the magic of the world we live in.
Your energy is amazing. Your passion is there, and you're very grounded. I got it. Like you're extremely grounded, and I don't say that
Yes.
to anybody. Uh,
Thank you.
it,
I've worked hard to get there. I'll be honest, Steve, I wasn't always so grounded.
I got you. I'm sitting on a grounding mat right now. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. Yeah, here, I'll unplug it and show you this is what plugs into the wall. Um, Interestingly,
Love it. I
yeah,
love that.
yeah,
That is such a cool little contraption.
like $20. And normally you're supposed to put your feet on it, but my feet are always moving all over the place. And I don't put them flat on the floor. It's usually like that, or I'll put them on a speaker or something, whatever. But I figure,
Hmm.
why can't I sit on it? If you talk about chakras, there's a chakra right there, but whatever.
Yes.
Interesting what you just said about the now, because when I said on Monday that something was revealed to me through these two people. The first person that I mentioned, um, not the one that I knew from way back in the day, but her cousin. It's actually her cousin is somebody
Hmm.
that I was connected to uh, about 2 years ago in the beginning of my current journey. She opened my eyes. So weird that you just said that. And I said what I said. She opened my eyes 2 years ago in that she said, why don't you ever live in the present? And I'm like, I don't know. What are you talking about? Why don't you live in the present? You're always in the past. You're always in the future. You're never here now. And it took me a little while to process that and figure it out. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. Because when you think about it, when you're in the present, you have no worries. If you're truly
Yes,
right here, right now, there's no worries because you're not thinking about the
exactly.
future. You're not thinking about the past. Not that you should ignore them, but make the focus here and then let that kind of be the fringe out there, floating around out there.
Exactly. Because the future is constantly changing based on what you do today. The future will never be set in stone based on the choices, the decisions, the moves, and the steps that you take in your life will all depict what your future will look like.
Yeah.
And the past is only there for reflection. It shows us where we have been, not where we're going. And it offers lessons and insight into who we are and what we like and don't like, what we will tolerate and not tolerate. And being in the present moment allows us to experience the purity of every experience that we encounter, be it joy, happiness, triumph, victory, and even sorrow and sadness. All of these emotions play a huge part in your learning experience on this planet because honestly, that's why you're here. You are here to learn about you, learn about others, learn about this world. So technically, Earth is like a school.
Mhm. Without a doubt. And every day is a learning experience and every day is a choice. The
Yes,
thing you do in 5 seconds right now, aside from breathing and blinking,
yes.
that was your
Yeah, we got
choice.
to breathe.
Yes, we do. And that would help a lot of us if we did. Um,
And
but
breath work is so important.
yeah.
Like, it is so important.
Mhm.
Literally, I tell my clients, you are literally one breath away from a different life. Because if you were just to take the time and just be with yourself for just one breath, it takes like 6 seconds to inhale and exhale deeply. And within that 6 seconds, everything could fade away if you allow it.
Mm.
So technically, though breath is our force of life, it is also the force of release, creation, and emotion, period. Like it literally helps us do so many things. If you're stressed, take a breath. If you're scared, take a breath. If you're sad, take a breath. Everything comes down to the breath. And that's one of the pieces that goes into the present moment because by breathing deeply, your body physically reacts and scientifically on side physiologically relaxes because of the breath. So it kind of like snaps you out of whatever it is you're experiencing. And I tell my daughter all the time, just breathe.
Oh my gosh. How old's your daughter?
She just turned 18 in January. We made it.
All right. So mine is 14, and I say the same exact thing. Yeah, and it's just like kind of like it gets pushed to the side. But and it's
Yes.
funny, I didn't know my dad very well. However, there was three things that he would say to me: breathe, learn to read, and enjoy
Yes.
life. And you think of those
Yes.
when you hear those things, like, yeah, all right, whatever. And then you come to find out
Smart man.
this breathing thing. Well, you know what? After he passed, I learned I was just like him. And he passed when I was young.
Mm.
Um, but I look at the
Oh,
breath work as it's a reset button. It's like your computer. If you
yeah,
use Windows, Control Alt Delete, you reboot, comes up, relatively fast, hopefully, and
exactly.
it's like, oh, all right, well now things are moving better. Now I can do this. Now I can do that. So yeah, how did
Yeah.
this all begin? Your journey, Lady Jewlz? How did it begin for you?
Well, I've always been intuitive and I've always felt that I was different. I've always wanted to help people. And when I was younger, I realized that I had this great desire to make others feel safe and happy. And as I grew older, I started to pay a little bit more attention to the little clues and signs that I would receive in my physical body, as well as out here in this world, because nature speaks to us in so many ways. And if we are still, if we are quiet enough, we will hear it. And I guess you could say nature was my greatest teacher. I come from a very large family, so being outside and kind of in my own world was a joy for me, because I was always, we had such a big family. There was always something to do, or someone, that we had to go with or share with. And don't get me wrong, I love sharing, but sometimes you need some alone time.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
realized that at a young age, that I required alone time. And this is how I kind of found out that I had these intuitive and psychic abilities. What started out as a secret society amongst my friends soon would turn into a journey of a lifetime. And I am absolutely thrilled. Like, my greatest inspiration was probably watching my friends when I would help them, the way that they would feel, how they would act. It was like there was this huge weight that was lifted off, because somebody actually understood what they felt. Somebody actually could relate to what they were saying, or even took the time to listen, because honestly, sometimes that's what we all need, is just somebody to listen, not somebody to fix our problems, but somebody just to hear us out and not offer any judgment. And that's truly what my mission was. So once I entered the workforce and I grew a little older, I realized that everyone always told me I had a special way with words, and they would seek me out. And I I always found the greatest amount of joy in helping other people. And this is something that I have prided myself on for so long, is that sense of humility, that sense of compassion that is sort of like stilled into my bones, of wanting others to be just as happy and helping to show them that they are magnificent in their own way. So I guess you could say helping my friends is really the way that I got started. And once
Mm.
I realized that the digital world was truly a grand opening for someone like me, that I just dove right in, just jumped right in. I wanted to help the world, not just the people in my hometown. I wanted to make an impact, to be a beacon of light and a safe place for those who were struggling with the darkness of self and the challenges of life, as we all do. And this is truly my greatest inspiration, is to bring this healing and this love to the souls of this earth, because we all deserve it. And that's my mission, my friend, to heal the world.
Mm. I believe it. I totally believe it, and that you found your purpose. You really have.
Yes.
There's no doubt. It's not like it's not
Thank
a
you. Thank
gray
you.
area here. It's yeah, without a doubt. Um, and we all go through pretty much the same stuff. When you
Yes.
take a step back, or you fly the plane over the bleachers and you look down, we're all kind of dealing with the same thing, different situations,
Mhm.
but a lot of it is very similar, in that we could feel stuck. We're not moving our lives
Mhm.
forward. We're not aligned. Something is not right there. So if somebody works with you, where does it start? They contact you. Is it a free consult? And then do you kind of figure
Yes.
out what's the best direction for them?
Yes. So if you were to go to gypsymind.com, MYND, then you will be able to click the book online tab. And if you are interested in a free consultation, there is a button in the bottom left hand corner that you can click on to send me an email for a free consultation. Say you don't know what you need. Like, you just know that you want some help, but you're not sure what it is you're looking for, be it comforting counsel, a psychic reading, mediumship, maybe some mentorship. You don't know. And that's why I offer the free consultation, is because most often we have no idea what to do, what we want. We just know that we want it. So if you were send me an email via the website, then we will communicate that way, figure it out, and then we'll get you set up. And it's really an easy process. It is so fast. Ever since we went digital, things have become so easier. I used to do this purely on a personal face-to-face basis, and I realized that going digital was so much easier.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why almost every therapist, counselor, lots of doctors, it's all virtual. And that's okay. It's okay.
It is. It's all virtual with me as well. All of our sessions are done live. So you would get video like this via Zoom or via social media platforms like Facebook Messenger, Instagram video, Zoom, all those lovely jazz platforms. And the reason why I do the video is because I want you to see me and I want to see you. It helps to create a stronger connection if you can see me. And also I want to show my clients, if we're using cards or a pendulum or any tools, I want them to be able to see it so that they can experience it with me. And it's not just, me telling them constantly, oh, this is what happened. They can see it for themselves.
Yeah, we didn't even get into the pendulum. I think we skimmed on cards last time we talked, but I would love to do that next time we get a chance to talk, because I think that the pendulum thing,
most definitely, the pendulum is such a fun experience.
It intrigues me, and it's not that I don't believe it. I believe in all of it, but I try to get my bearings literally with the pendulum situation. And I just had a reflection. That situation I talked about on Monday, where this person gave me insight. Okay, before we met, I spoke with a psychic. And I know one, and she's like you, very, very in tune, very legitimate. The things that she told me about this situation, this person validated all of them. Spot on. So
spot on.
Yeah.
So, you have a pendulum in your possession. You can utilize it yourself.
Are you referring to where you stand and you gravitate in a certain direction, whether it's a yes or no?
Yes.
Let's talk about that next time, because I try that, and that's the one thing that I don't know if I'm accurate. I don't know if I'm serious.
That has to do with the hesitation of self, trusting your instincts and your intuition, something we all suffer from. We all suffer from the inability to truly trust ourselves, especially when it comes to something new. I
can guarantee you I'll be standing in between door frames for the rest of this day. trying it again. But yeah, let's talk about that next time. Your website again, Gypsy Mind. Is it right?
GypsyMind.com, MYND.
And I've said this last time, I'll say it again. You're the good gypsy. There's good gypsies out there. There's good witches out there. Thank you so much. Without a doubt.
Yes.
Lady Jewlz, fantastic talking with you. And I truly mean that, a joy. You are so grounded. Just being in your presence feels good. It's grounding.
Thank you so much.
All right.
That is literally a magical compliment. Thank you so much.
I will never say something I don't truly mean. And I truly mean that. And I look forward next time we get a chance to talk.
Me too. It has been such a joy and an honor to be here speaking with you today, Steve. Thank you so much for having me.
And likewise. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.